This podcast contains potentially adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly sexual context. Listener discretion is advised. Okay, welcome to Drinking with Authors, the literary briefs edition where we record it in our underwear. I'm just kidding. I'll get to a point where somebody will let me record it in our underwear, and then that'll be awesome. I bet I can convince John Dover to do that, or Rick Hines. I'm calling you out, guys. Okay, so this is my water glass. Let's talk about, oh, no, drunk. I'm fine. My co-host today is Vanessa Valiente. And our amazing guest is Rebecca Rosenberg, who's just, oh my God, I hope you all listened to the first podcast because that was amazing. Okay, let's talk about what we're drinking or have gotten drunk on. I have gotten drunk on. It is gin and tonic, and it was really like this much gin. I'm just gonna let everybody know it was a little bit of a lie about the gin and tonic. And it has, I think, bergamot, and no, it's got to be something else, and hibiscus in it, and it is amazing. Vanessa, what are you drinking?
I'm on the last bit of my rum and coke here, so I'll be hydrating very soon. Very soon.
Hydrating is for sissies. Okay, Rebecca, what are you drinking?
I am drinking champagne, of course, and it is the Breathless sparkling wine of Napa Valley. So it's lovely, and it happens to be a cover of my book, Champagne Widows. So of course I'm drinking champagne.
I love all
Cheers.
of this. Okay. Cheers. Yes, cheers. Oh, drinking. More drinking. Vanessa, you didn't drink with us. Where was your cheering?
Sorry. Right here, guys. Cheers. One more time.
Okay,
Salute.
one more time. One more for the back of the room. Cheers.
Whoa.
Okay. Rapid fire question. What is your favorite book of all time, Rebecca?
Oh, Gone with the Wind.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Was that a surprise or what?
Yeah, I was thinking
Yes. We've never had anybody say Gone with the Wind before. Wow.
Oh, right. That must have been the one that everyone says, Gone with the Wind. No?
No.
No,
You're
you're the
kidding. I'm
first.
shocked.
You're the first.
You're the first
Oh, wow.
in like 200
Amazing.
episodes.
Amazing. Have you ladies read it?
No,
No.
I've only seen the movie like a gazillion times, but I've always heard the book is actually much better.
Oh, the book is amazing. Wow. And you learn so much. And I guess of course, that's where I get my love of research and all that and telling the story, because you have to tell the whole story, what is going on and the emotion also, but what is going on in the country and how does it affect you? And think about this last couple of years that we've all lived, how the country has affected us more than ever before, or I feel like that, and all the epidemics and all that stuff. So Gone with the Wind. It's just fantastic.
I love it. Okay, what is your least favorite book of all time?
Oh, well, actually, this one that I showed you earlier. This is my favorite book, and my least favorite book is called Perfume, the Story of a Murderer. And that is because this man, the protagonist, takes a talent that he has, which is Lene, which is what my character has, Lene, the exquisite talent of smelling everything. And he does the whole different, you would love this, Erica. He is a very, very evil man.
I'm writing this down right next to my notes from the previous podcast about giving away body bags to my reader clubs. I'm not kidding. I wrote it down right there. Body bags, readers club.
Erica, email me and I'll send you this book. I think you'd really love it because it's really it is a horror book, but it was so exquisite. so it's my best and my worst kind of book. And actually this other book, let me think if I can remember the name. Shoot, I can't, never mind.
That's okay. Champagne gets in the way of everything. Okay. So what is your favorite, if you say Gone with the Wind, that's almost cheating, but what is your favorite book that has been turned into a movie?
Oh, well, I can say Dr. Zhivago is my other favorite.
Ooh.
And really similar, that you're learning history from the real inside of people. And so Dr. Zhivago, fantastic movie. What do you ladies think? Did you like Dr. Zhivago?
I actually
did.
own the book, but I haven't seen it or read it yet. So, Erica, what are
You
your
haven't seen the
thoughts?
movie? Vanessa, you haven't seen the movie? Just see the movie. That's all
Yeah,
I
no,
got.
you just have to remember that Vanessa is 5 years old, so that doesn't help the situation.
That is not true. That is not true. I resent any. I resent that.
Okay,
Good movie.
rapid fire questions, Rum and Coke over there. What is yours?
Ooh, okay. Do you listen to music while you're writing? And if so,
Of course.
who's
Oh.
like your go-to?
While writing. No, I don't listen while I'm writing, but I usually have a theme song that I will play so that I'm in this mood like all the time. So I have to be in the mood of this book for the entire time I write it. And that's why I'm dressed like this. And that's why I'm drinking from this. And I've got, things around me that really create that atmosphere. And the one that I remember the most was for Gold Digger, that I had an Eagles song that was about this big love and that he would do anything for her. And her old prospector does anything he can for her, and it really is his downfall. So I like to come with a beautiful song that
Nice.
reminds me of where, yeah.
Hmm.
So what is the song you're listening to now for the one you're working on?
Well, good question. I haven't done a song, so now I have to, so I can answer that question.
Yeah, no,
But
you're gonna have
I
to,
do.
you gotta bring
Yeah.
the soundtrack.
For
What's happening?
For Champagne Widows, so you have to do the research about, what art they're seeing and what music they're playing. And he was into Beethoven. Think about how kind of disturbed Beethoven was. And Barbara Nicole Clicquot's husband had mental illness, and he loved Beethoven and he loved Mozart. So, and he loved lesser artists as well. So that's what I was into while I was doing this. But that's a good question. I haven't picked up my new era yet. You have to find it and find out what it's like.
Nice.
Well, and okay, so
Do you
then
listen, Erica?
I listen, yeah, what I listen to a lot of is Celtic music while I'm writing because I just love the sound of it in the background. But I will listen to some very dark albums that some people have sort of turned me on to while I'm writing my horror stuff, because I tend to write, and Vanessa can attest to this. It's funny, we did a horror movie convention last weekend, and one of the panels, I read one of my stories, and I hadn't read a story out loud in front of a group of people in a very long time. And the story is called The Sundress. And it's a lot of my stories are those kind of stories that you almost get lulled into a sense of security and then punched in the face. Like it's one of those. And it was so neat when I was deciding what to read. I was like, this is a fun one. I'll read this one. It's called The Sundress. And I was reading it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm actually every now and then looking up at the audience, and they're doing exactly what I thought, where they're just, they just peacefully kind of listening. And then I say the end of the story, and they're like this. And I was like, okay, good. I've accomplished my goal. So a lot of times I find that like I like listening to kind of spooky or haunty music when I'm writing that stuff. But on the flip side, when I'm writing my chick lit erotica, I listen to like, Usher playlist and, that kind of stuff. Like, we're going to grind our butts there. Vanessa, what do you listen to?
Well, because the majority I write is fantasy, I would say that I listen to a lot of soundtrack music, especially. So anytime I'm watching a TV show or a movie, I always have like my little Shazam app, because sometimes when I feel a feeling, when I hear a song in a movie or in a show, and I'm like, oh my God, it reminds me of a particular character. Because sometimes, it's really hard to get into a certain type of emotion or atmosphere, especially if you were doing something else and then you're trying to get your mind prepped for writing. So for me, music is a really great way of kind of getting into that mood. But I will say I don't listen to music when I write, because I write humorous erotica, and I don't listen to music when I do that. I don't know why. That one in particular, I kind of listen to, I like that, like those stories to be like super voicey. So I kind of try to hear the character's voice in my head, because I want that character's voice to really come out, because I want it to just be funny and relatable. But for fantasy, I definitely listen to music to really bring out that atmosphere and the emotion.
Wow. That was not a rapid fire question when we got to the end of it. That was something.
That was intense. I loved it.
So when you're writing these stories, you're doing so much research. Do you do outlines or do you plot? Like, how do you end up creating where you want to start and where you want to go to?
I do. I have big notebooks. I'll show you my current notebook. I'll have a big notebook like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and for each book, and I'll have different sections for research and for structure and for craft that I want to try to do, and characters, and then I always have timelines, and I have all that. So and I believe in structure, but I need to do the free write within the structure. So I have to separate my two minds that have a structure in mind and then want to roll with the story. So I think these notebooks help me put it together. What about you guys?
Oh, no, I'm a pantser. I literally do not outline. I don't do anything. I'm a little bit of a rare creature that I just write. The only books I ever outline is with the ones that I write with that friend of mine, and we outline kind of what's going to happen, because he writes the male characters and lead character. I write the female lead character. And so we write one chapter each from the point of view of the character. And so we have to have some idea where it's going. And then he usually finishes before me because he's faster. And then what I do is I go in and I tweak his stuff a little bit to align with what the girl's mindset is. And it turns out well, but that's the only time. What about you, Vanessa? Aren't you a plotter? Aren't you squarely in the writing the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm a huge plotter. I mean, I consider myself a hybrid, but more on the plotter side, because I have a world book that's over 100,000 words, which is more than the draft of the first book of the series. So yeah, I'm very into world building, and I do write in notebooks. And then actually I have some of mine's like right here. I have it on like, this is like on notebook paper, but I also have Scrivener too. So I don't know if you are familiar, but the writing software, because my ADD would go crazy if I was just staring at this. And so I try to organize my stuff in the software. So it's a little bit of both.
What about you? Write real characters. Do you ever have to do anything with the families or the descendants, or is there anything like that you do?
Yeah, you have to know all of it. And so in this Champagne Widows, in fact, I want to get into this aspect since you're talking about writing. I love this. I like to create a web of characters. So I like to have 4 characters that are in a web. And you have the protagonist here, but she has 4 antagonists or 3 antagonists, and they are against each other and they're against her. So I love to create that. And that means that it's usually the family, but you're talking about like the historical family. So yeah, you have to watch out that you're telling the truth about these people. And like, for instance, in Champagne Widows, her father, Barbara Nicole Clicquot's father, is the mayor of town. And I did all the research around him, and I found out that he was really for the king of France. But the Napoleon made him mayor, and he was working for Napoleon. And so I made him a spy in this book. And it worked. It worked from everything that I knew. It worked because he had loved the king, but he was working for Napoleon. But the king ends up back as king of France by the end of this book. And so it's like, how did that happen? And who was he? Of course, you don't know that he was a spy, but he had the ability to be a spy. So that's an example of the family and how they get involved.
That's very cool. What about fan reception to your book? So what was it like when fans started reaching out to you and asking you or talking to you about your book?
Well, actually, this time I got really super involved with my review crew, and I have enjoyed it so much. Like, I had it before with my assistant and she was doing everything, but then you're reading things and you're reading reviews, but you don't get to talk to them. So now doing it the way that I'm doing it, which is like I was saying to you earlier, if you want to be on the review crew, you just email me, and then I get you a free copy of the book. And then if you have questions and want to chat about it, then we're back and forth. And I love that. So I had reviewers saying, well, why did she fall in love with Francois? Like, really? Why would she fall in love with a man who is mentally ill? And so we get to have that conversation, and I said, well, she did end up a widow, right? She never got remarried. So that could be one reason, and it's fun because we, as writers, we know about character arcs. And a lot of times readers aren't thinking, sometimes they'll review a book because they didn't like the characters. Isn't that hard for you, Erica? Because I'm sure your readers don't love the characters.
Well, what I've run into more is I have a different tact on reviews. I love meeting fans. I love when fans come up to me and talk to me and tell me about their favorite parts of books or their favorite characters, or ask me plot points that I don't remember putting in the book because it was a subplot of a subplot and it just needed to be there. But I don't actually pay a huge amount of attention to reviews for myself, because I think that it's very easy on the internet to be an asshole, to be honest. And so some people will get a book and it's not their cup of tea, and not because it's badly written, but it's just not their genre. And they'll be like, love this story, love the characters, the book was too short, 1-star review, and like, how do you give somebody a 1-star review because you thought the book was too short? That's stupid.
How about this one that I read, 5-star review, the book came in great shape. Did you?
Exactly. That doesn't do anything to the readers that are trying to read it. So
I'm like, okay. Yeah, and then I get fantastic reviews that are 3 stars. They're like saying, I love this, this is so interesting, so cool, 3 stars. I want to write her back and say, do you know there are 5 stars? Because it's funny.
well, and that's the thing, is that I think that fan interaction is great. I think when fans reach out to you on social media, it's great. I think, I love hearing what people like about the book, so I do it. What?
I like actually talking to people. That's what I like the best. That if they, I wish we could all do book clubs I don't know how to do that, but I'd like to do that. Like to do okay, I'm gonna do a book club and have an interactive book club like a month after the book, maybe once a month. If you want to join, you could talk about it. So that would be fun.
You know what you should do is you should coordinate with other authors and do takeovers where they come on and they, you preemptively have them come on and talk about their books and you talk about yours on theirs. And that gives you that book club aspect. Because, I think that's the biggest thing. Have you done any in-person events?
Yeah.
What's that been like, interacting with the people in the in-person events?
Always fun. But what I'm saying is that a book club is really different than an author telling about their book. Like when I have a book club and we read books and then we discuss them. And actually my favorite times, I have 3 book clubs here locally that will invite me and then we'll actually have a discussion about my books. That's my favorite thing. And I'd like to recreate that idea somehow.
You can definitely do it virtually. You can do read-alongs and say from this date and this date, we're gonna read these chapters, and then you can do a live video, and then it gives you a chance to discuss those chapters. And then you can just, and you just give all your readers, and if you have a newsletter or on your website, just give them all the dates and just say, and then that's also a great opportunity for you to put in nuggets of things that are not in the book that you can kind of throw in and be like, oh, by the way, let me expand a little bit about this,
Yeah, I think, and I also like Zoom. Maybe you guys are giving me a good idea. Maybe do a Zoom meeting once a month for the book comes out, for people who have read it, and invite them via Facebook and Instagram and wherever. And that would be fun. And then we could
that's kind of how the genesis of this podcast started. I've told people this story before, but I had in Tampa, when I was living down there, me and the co-author of my books, we worked with a not-for-profit literary thing called Wordier Than Thou. It's brilliant down there. And we decided to do a book club, and we would read local authors' books. Like that was a thing. And the first time we did that, the author showed up at the book club, and we were like, well, this changes things a little bit because,
it does.
Yeah. And we didn't invite them, but they showed up, and then it happened the second time. So then we were like, okay, let's just invite the authors and we'll just talk to the authors about their book and their life. And it changed the dynamics, but that's how the genesis of this show. So I think book clubs are thoroughly awesome and amazing.
Yeah. And there is, I'm part of Novel Network. Have you heard of that? Novel Network.
Vanessa, have you?
Yeah. No. Novelnetwork.com has authors on it, and any book club can go and get authors to appear at their book club. So it's the same kind of thing. And I love Novel Network. They have lots of authors and it's a fun thing to do.
That's
I like this.
Awesome. Okay, Vanessa, question?
Ooh. Okay, I feel like you've traveled to quite a few places, I feel. So what is your favorite place that you traveled for? And like, has it inspired, and if you haven't used it, do you plan to use that place as like inspiration for a book, a future book?
Okay. Well, right now, my favorite place is France. It always has been, and the whole Champagne region. I wanted to show you guys, it's a good opportunity. So this is where Barbara Nicole Clicquot lived. And this is Champagne. And this is actually where, like, it looks just like where I live now because it's all vineyards and everything. And this is my picture of Barbara Nicole Clicquot, even though it's not her. I tried to find the perfect picture of her at that age and what it was, she's smelling the grapes and that's what she wanted to do. And this is a picture of what she wanted to do, which was harvest the grapes and make wine. let's see, how's the next picture gonna go? So good. And so this is why I love France, because, and you were there, right? Did you see these beautiful Crières? And this is actually the Veuve Clicquot Crières, where they're laying down those wine bottles, and it's so exquisite. And they're so mysterious and almost a character in the book. And then this was her nemesis, the Napoleon, and he is so powerful. But you see that actually in the book.
Uh-oh, we lost her. Oh no, we'll have to see if she calls back in. We're dead, and then she's back.
Oh, I think
Okay,
she's
good.
there.
Rebecca, you're muted. Are you there? Hello? Got to see if we can get her to unmute. Technical difficulties here on the drinking. There she is. She's back. We can see her, but we can't hear her. You got to unmute. We can't hear you.
I did unmute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So a fun thing is that Napoleon in the book is controlled by the Red Man, who is a really frightening character. And you'll have to read the book to find out about the Red Man. And the exciting thing about that is the Red Man is real.
Oh, wow.
No. She went out again.
We keep losing her. Oh, there she is. What is? Oh, technology. I feel like technology doesn't like us today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry
Well,
about that.
in the spirit
Anyway,
before we lose you again, Rebecca.
Yes. Yes.
Let's tell people where they can find you and your books, and hold up your card for your book club again. There we go. Rebecca at rebecca-rosenberg.com, Champagne Widows Review Crew. And you can also find her
on my website.
Yes. And all of her books on the website.
RebeccaRosenberg.com.
You have been so thoroughly fantastic. Thank you for being on the podcast with us.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
that was the best happy hour I've ever had. I love it. Can I come every week?
Yes, yes, of course you can.
It was so much fun. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, thank you guys for listening to Drinking with Authors, Literary Briefs. I've been your host, Erica Lance. My wonderful co-host has been Vanessa Valiente, and our phenomenal guest has been Rebecca Rosenberg. Champagne Widows is the book. Pick it up as soon as possible, and we will see you guys next time.